Namaste. Good morning to all the friends who are present and listening to this session. In this particular session, I'll be sharing with you one simple tool which can instantaneously shift our consciousness, which is generally scattered all around the world, shift it within and direct it towards the divine. If we were to carefully observe ourselves, understand how we live 24 hours in a day, understand the motives which move us, the inspirations that inspire us, and the direction in which our life is moving. We need to be honest with ourselves. We will realize that even amongst those who are inspired to a spiritual life, drawn to a spiritual life, even for most of them, our lives are predominantly dictated by our outer consciousness, by our ego centered consciousness. Most of our motives, our inspirations are driven by our outer life, by the dictates of our outer life. Other than for a few moments we spend in meditation or in prayer, other than these few rare moments in a day, most of the time is actually spent in an externalized consciousness in which we are in relation to the people around us, to the world around us. So it's only obvious that most of our lives are spent in an externalized consciousness, in a life wherein we are always dealing with people, influenced by people. It is natural that our consciousness is largely influenced by the people around us. We cannot escape that. You cannot escape the environment in which you live, whether it is a family environment, the workplace environment, the social environment, your religious, your cultural environment, because you are connected to them consciously, subconsciously, through multiple ways. So, what we think, what we are, is largely influenced by all that happens outside us. It's largely influenced by the people around us. So, in that perspective, the theme of this particular conference, which tries to look at the social component of well being, is a relevant one because it is true that we are a social animal and that our being is largely influenced by the collectivity, by the social consciousness in which it exists. We are not living in isolation and we have not learned to live in an isolation from the collectivity. So, in this particular session, I would share with you a small strategy which I personally use, which has helped me to move, change my being, which is by habit always turned towards the outside, towards people, towards work. So, this strategy has helped me to shift my being towards the divine. So, what is this strategy? In fact, it is a very simple question that I ask myself. Whom do I belong to? Who am I? From the depths of your being, ask this question to yourself. Who am I? Whom do I belong to? Do I identify myself with my outer being, the outer roles which I play in this life, that of a doctor, a manager, that of a husband or a son or a father or a friend. How much I am identified with this outer world. Or, in fact, am I not a child of the Divine Mother? A child whom the Divine Mother has brought to her, chosen by her to do her work. So, do I belong to the Divine, or do I belong to this outer world? Whom do I belong to? The moment this question becomes real, then something changes. When I say that, oh Mother Divine, this mind belongs to you. Use it as thy instrument. Then, naturally, I offer my entire mind space at her feet. I offer my entire mind to her. And Mother, as thou will, I cleanse this mind of all other thoughts and ideas and vibrations. Then for this mind, nothing else is important. No other job, no other person is important, but her, but the divine. You open your mind and ask her to fill it with her light. And you realize that The small little boundaries of your mind dissolve, and your mind becomes vast and vast, like the vast open sky without limits. Oh, Mother, this heart belongs to you. Free this heart from all small worldly desires, from all little expectations of life, from the small little anxieties and fears and doubts. Cleanse this heart of every small earthly vibration. This heart belongs to thee alone. Let there be only thy presence, thy love, thy vibration. There is absolutely no place for any other emotion, any other desire, no hurt, no aspiration other than the divine. Every fiber of the heart is turned towards thee. O Mother Divine, this physical body belongs to thee. Each organ of the body, each muscle of the body works for thy This is a body whose only purpose is to manifest thee. So each fiber of the body opens to thy touch, thy power. And is it not my responsibility to keep it in the best of condition, to keep it the most receptive condition, to receive thy light and transform the very cells of this body. When we deeply realize that our body belongs to the divine, it is impossible for us to do anything which will hurt this body in any way. We will be absolutely conscious of every action, conscious of every food which we put inside the body. Because with the food we absorb the vibrations of the food and the people. Then food becomes a meditation, an act of consecration in which we absorb the material necessary for the strength of this body. Our relationship with our body will totally change. We will become very intimate with each and every organ of the body, each and every tissue and cell. In our yoga, our being, the mind, the body, the vital, is the Kurukshetra, is our Dharma Kshetra. Our only objective is to offer and open each and every part of our being to the divine light and power and love, and to help the divine in the supramental transformation. Our battles are within us. Our successes are within us. The changes we aspire are within us. Our scope of work is within us. So, this is a very small change which we need to bring about, a shift from the outer to the inner, a change of ownership of your being from the outer world to the divine. This small inner shift will set you on the sunlit path and open all the doors of transformation one by one. We will close this session with a prayer. To turn towards thee, unite with thee, live in thee and for thee is supreme happiness, unmixed joy, immutable peace. It is to breathe infinity, to soar in eternity, no longer feel one's limits, escape from time and space. Why do men flee from these boons as though they feared them? What a strange thing is ignorance, that source of all suffering. How miserable that obscurity which keeps men away from the very thing which would bring them happiness and subjects them to this painful school of ordinary existence, fashioned entirely from struggle and suffering. This prayer alone is enough to guide us in our life. Om Shanti.